Hunters, how is it going? And welcome back to a brand new episode of Cue Ball's Bearded Rambles. Now, before we start, I want to give a massive shout out to my friends, now they are, at King Kraken for giving me the opportunity of using one of their newest tracks from their newest album, March of the Gods, which is out this Friday. Now, if you don't know who King Kraken are, I suggest you go and check them out because they're a fantastic South Wales based heavy rock band. They tour all over Wales, they toured all over the UK. They have previous albums from 2 years ago and so on. I suggest you go and check them out because they're really awesome. And they're great people as well, real great people. A couple of years back, I had a bit of beef with them. They turned up to a show. I thought they was going to help me against a certain faction, but they turned on me. But that's just the way it goes. But yeah, go and check them out. King Kraken, new album, March of the Gods, this Friday. And now I believe this is where the intro comes in. So we're going to do the intro right now. You will never be alone. And we're back. Now, I had a bit of trouble filming this new episode purely because I don't really know where to take it. I am kind of just going along with what I feel is right. I had a whole top 10 thing in my head what I thought I could do, like absurd wrestling, from AEW, TNA, WWE, whatever. But I was no, it's the same shit, isn't it? Everybody puts that stuff out with the top 10 stuff, and yeah. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll talk about things I don't like in wrestling. But do you really care? I mean, I don't know if you'd like me to do a video on things I don't like in wrestling, then I quite happily do a video, but I just don't want to be boring, because I know people are used to this podcast being on everybody else, on my guests, but I'm kind of just going with the flow now. I will be bringing guests in, like I said. I'll be bringing previous guests in for throwbacks and see what they've been up to for the past few years. There will be rants, like I said as well, because I do love a good old rant. There will be chaos because my vocabulary is shit, as you all know, but for some reason you will come back and watch this. I don't know why. So I'm just going to go with the flow with this one. I'm not going to keep you too long, but I just want to talk about why I started Cue Ball's Bearded Rambles. So, why did Cue Ball start the Rambles? One easy answer. Out of boredom, basically. So obviously, as you all know, my followers, like the OG followers, whatever you want to say you are, original. Hang on, I'm thinking of something. Roman Reigns got the OTC, so I'm going to try and make something for you guys. Original, rambling followers. I don't know. I'll make something up, or you let me know what you think you should be called, because I think that's be a pretty cool design. As I was saying, I started doing this podcast because I thought it'd be something fun to do during COVID-19, a couple of years back when we all had to stay at home and count happy birthday whilst washing our hands and made ourselves go completely fucking insane and all that shit. But there is one positive that actually did come from COVID, and I'll always say this regardless. It was a shit situation to be in. Everybody, it was shit. But the time that was spent with my family is something that's never gonna happen again. Like all of my kids are growing up now, they want to do their own thing. But we try to make a negative situation into a positive situation by entertaining you all. And I think we managed to do all that by doing lockdown mayhems, which was fun. Like I was tag team champions for 2 promotions at the time, and I used the bouts as like the 24/7 championship bouts like they do on WWE. And as you can all tell, I am now rambling, and this is why it's called Cue Ball's Bearded Rambles, because I just go off and ramble. So podcast, why I started the podcast up. Something to do, something to keep me sane, something to keep my sanity from fucking off. And I am allowed to swear on this because this is my podcast. If you don't like swearing, then you probably shouldn't be watching this because it happens. And if you can't stand somebody whose vocabulary is crap, again, you may as well just jog on because that's just the way it is. In wrestling, we try to sell our gimmicks to you, the audience, through our wrestling, if you will, per se. Um, we're telling you we are the good guys. We're going to tell you we're the bad guys through the things we do to our opponents or the things we shout at you or get you doing. And you always, 9 times out of 10, you're always responsive. I haven't been a good guy and a bad guy. There's always slight elements of things that you need that I do. Currently, I'm a bad guy, so I call you all wet wipes. And you all react to it. You're all loving it for some reason. I don't know why, but you're all loving it. My merch sales are going up, which is fantastic. And thank you all for doing that. And if you would like some merch, cheap plug, you can go onto my Cube or official Instagram page or Facebook page, and you can go and see my t-shirt designs on there. There's Justice for Cube Ball because I've recently been fired as commissioner from Ring Wrestling Stars. There is Lewis Blaine as a ball bag because he is a ball bag. There's hashtag boohoo because of all you crybabies. And there's another one, a brand new one, which is Cuball called me a wet wipe. That was inspired by a fan-made t-shirt, which is freaking awesome. So you go and check them out. But yeah, like I was saying, we all do things to let you know who we are and what we're about through our work and art of wrestling. So if we're beating a crap into somebody generally means we're a bad guy and you react to it. If we're all about you, letting you know who we are by letting you clap with us, giving you high fives, that means we're the good guys kind of thing. Now, when COVID happened, that stopped. So I wanted to bring a way of letting my friends be able to be their character without wrestling. And that was through this, what you're currently watching me on now. And it was through Zoom at the time. And it allowed those guys to come on and speak about themselves, like verbally, and put them onto social media, put it onto my YouTube channel, Keyboard Bearded Rambles. No, it's not. It's Keyboard TV, something like that. It's something like that. My YouTube channel. I'll link it somewhere. And they got to speak about themselves. They got to speak about their characters, where they want to go in life, whether they want to stay just on the independent scene, whether they want to go WWE, TNA, AEW, blah blah blah. And it worked. I think I can safely say it helped a lot of people. They got to dress up as themselves. They got to just be a different person for an hour or 2 hours a day. Well, just for one sitting kind of thing, and talk about themselves. And one question I always brought up was about mental health, because that's mental health is something dear to me. I am a sufferer of mental health, and that's okay. And that's something I did like to promote. And it's something that I believe should always be spoken about, regardless of what situation. And it's okay to not be okay. And again, I think it helped knowing that if fans watched their favorite wrestlers open up a little bit about themselves and their mental health, they was okay in themselves. Does that make sense? And that's why I done it. It helped me, it helped them, and it helped you watching at home. For the dozens and dozens watching at home and all that cringy stuff. And, like I said, like everything comes to an end. And when we was all allowed to come out of lockdown and like the last time, and we was all allowed to go back to doing our things, we was all allowed to go back to wrestling and blah, blah, blah. Then that's when I felt Rambles needed to stop, because we didn't need to rely on stuff like this. I did try to bring it back a few times, because I'm always getting messages about saying bring back Rambles and all that. And it's, there was never a right time to do it. And I tried, and it just didn't ever feel right. I recorded a few episodes, released them, and it just didn't seem right. Didn't seem at the right time, and also the editing side of things was a nightmare as well, and it still is. But I'm willing to persevere. I just really hope you enjoy them, and I really do hope you listened. You listened. I hope you enjoyed listening to somebody like me just chat shit all the time. But with that being said, I think this is where I'm going to end it now, because I think I've gone on a little bit too much now. I've rambled too much, and I've missed the point a few times, and blah blah blah. The usual stuff. The usual stuff is going to happen. So that being said, coming to the conclusion of Cue Ball's Be the Rambles, episode 2 of season 6, I believe. I will be bringing guests on, brand new guests, throwback guests, like I said, and yeah, let's do it again. And I'm glad I got you on the journey. Stay safe, stay positive. And remember to give me a follow on all the socials. Give King Kraken a follow and make sure you pre-order their newest album, March of the Gods. And how did I finish this? Hashtag, yeah, you bunch of wet wipes.